Yeah, so I'm trying to head up to Walmart, taking me a little late lunch break from work, and gotta go up here to get my little blood pressure medication, and I'm trying to finish my day out. So yeah, I might start making little quick videos, just kind of as a brainstorm tool for my channel. Cause yeah, sometimes I really don't know um what direction to go with certain things as far as like content and all that kind of stuff. I know what I like, and I'm gonna still try to stay in that vein, but I might just kind of free flow with some stuff because I don't always have time to sit down and do like whole productions and like full-fledged scripted material. And a lot of times too, I get things that just kind of roll off the cuff, and like, because one of my biggest things that I'm starting to be more aware of is just trying to focus on things that I basically do every day, and information that I find out that might be helpful for other folks, and just people in general, not necessarily just business people or people who are trying to start a business or people who have an interest in tech, but just people in general. Like one of the biggest things that catch my eye, being that I'm in tech and being that I'm kind of in that I'm in a lot of security spaces, is all of the data breaches that we have in this country when it comes to like your personal information, your personal accounts, um, just things like that, which then also leads to massive outages that we've been having over the last, I'd say, 6 to 8 months, be it AT&T, T-Mobile, Spectrum. I mean, there have been a host of like outages and attacks, and sometimes they won't even outright say that it's an actual cyber attack or anything like that, where in my head that's all I'm thinking. And I mention to people a lot of times, so I'm probably redundant to people who know me who actually might see this video. There was a movie that came out on Netflix called Leave the World Behind. um, the Obamas were kind of like one of the parties who were executive producers on that project, and one of the key things that movie depicted was countries that are not friendly to America teaming up and creating another form of warfare, which is cyber warfare, which is a lot less expensive than your traditional warfare. But also, it's not only is it cheaper, but it's also where it's easier to get done. And I see that as a huge threat to our society here in United States, because our infrastructure, and I'm not talking about like your roads and stuff like that, but more so like the things that sit behind things that you use every day, be it your electrical grid, your power grid, and all the outdated systems. Companies that have huge HVAC networks, and what runs those. A lot of times you see old systems that sit behind those with real lack security. So, I mean, and you see it sometimes alluded to in movies where some hackers got in and basically able to hack the HVAC system and set up to the point and turned it up to the point where, it freaking burns people alive or freezes people to death, or just something extreme. But the whole point in being that stuff like that is actually possible in terms of people gaining access to systems like that. I've worked with companies who have outdated software that sit on a network that control their entire HVAC system. So it's things like that. But yeah, in that movie, they used technology and cyber attacks to break down your electrical grid, penetrate systems. And I see that here in America, where you have companies you have people who've been hacked. So now they're like hacking like your telecom, like I said, your T-Mobiles, your Verizons, and people like that. And to me, they send probes when they get in just enough to cause some damage. They don't necessarily tell you. And I don't know if that's the truth or not, but I know companies like that may not give you the full truth because it'll be a freaking nightmare when it comes to that, and you have people in freaking mass hysteria thinking the world's going to end because the truth has been put out there. But for me, being on the other side of it, I always look at stuff as, oh, that's a hack. Whether or not it's true or not, I don't know, but the symptoms are there. So when you have whole networks that go down for hours on end, unexplained, and they say, oh, somebody clicked a button, maybe not. There was a Microsoft outage. There's that CloudStrike outage that happened a few months back. You know, stuff like that. You had servers blue screening all over the country. Was that an accident? Was it just a Windows update issue? I don't know, but there's a vulnerability there nonetheless. And somehow, some way, whether it was intentional or unintentional, it caused problems globally. So now that's a sign to somebody on the outside saying, hey, this is a weak point. Even if they fix it, it's still a known weak spot, and they might be able to figure out a way around it to cause global problems like they did. All right, what are we doing here, people? I don't know what you're doing, lady. But yeah, so it's things like that I've seen that could potentially cause some problems, and people are not even aware of it. You know, I've seen, was it just last week where there was an issue where somebody's water system got hacked on the back end. You know, that's another thing with movies. You'll see something like that. Oh, they got control of the water system. You know, and then if you really want to get into it, you got people who believe in conspiracy theorists and some of these folks who are, you know, far right or whatever, and now they want to band together and attack government infrastructure because they believe the government is a problem. And to me, they're just pawns in a bigger game that don't even include them. You know, you're attacking a system physically while somebody else is attacking it on the electronic side through cyber attacks, and they got you doing dirty work for them, and you're not even aware of it because they probably put out some internet propaganda and you believed it, thought it was real, and decided you were going to take the law into your own hands, thinking that you're doing somebody a favor, when in fact you're getting played like everybody else. So, yeah, that's just one of the things that kind of go through my mind when I see all of these things that happen on a regular basis. I mean, I get notifications every day from a variety of sources that talk about data breaches and outages and things of that nature. So I'm not surprised by anything that goes on, and or things that are actually released to the public and things that are not released to the public. So it can get very, very complicated. I guess the other part of this too is that for those who are like just your standard user, what can you do to kind of protect yourself? And it's really hard to even give advice on that because that stuff changes every day. I mean, from that company that had, I don't know how many Social Security numbers compromised. That was a couple of months ago as well. And I'm to the point where there's probably not going to be Social Security numbers in a little while. And that's going to be a whole different story that people are going to have to be aware of. I don't have any proof of that, but I'm just watching how things are changing and how things are just getting to the point where you don't have anything that's even not hackable for real, and that hasn't been exposed. Because I mean, if that many people have gotten their Social Security numbers exposed, and I had to get you the direct numbers if you're not aware of the whole situation. Yeah, that's a lot of people. It's a huge amount of people. So yeah, I won't be surprised that in the near future that we won't have Social Security numbers. There'll be some other kind of way that people will have to identify themselves. So people talk about microchips, and you want to get into the people talk about, you know, the mark of the beast and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what to say about all of that, but I'm just looking at the science when it comes to certain things. So, but yeah, it's a lot of information. So what I'll probably do, I might just drop little videos like this, just to kind of share my thoughts on like current state of like technology, data breaches, all that kind of stuff. And if I find information that can be helpful to people, I'll probably put that out there as well. Even to the point where they have these data breaches and they say, hey, you get a free year of this, or XY amount of people are going to be able to get this amount of money from this company because of this, settlements and lawsuits. I might share that information if I get it, just so people can know. You know, I've had issues with things like that, and people have provided financial restitution to a degree. And a lot of times, all you got to do is go and put your information. Now, like unfortunately, I have a Kia Sportage, and my car has been, there's been attempts to steal my car at least twice with all this, you know, Kia and Hyundai stuff. And supposedly they're giving money. I ain't gonna say giving money away, but they're trying to give some money back in all of these lawsuits. Now, I filed to get mine several months ago. I have yet to receive $1. So, and periodically I have to go check and see what the current status is in terms of when they're actually paying out restitution for those things. But it's stuff like that that a lot of times, and it's in smaller areas, but there's a lot of things that people not even aware of that they're actually eligible for. I think there was a thing like with Cash App or something a few months back or whatever, that they were saying that Cash App there was a lawsuit and people were actually supposed to file claims to get money for whatever their issue was. So I wasn't eligible for that as far as I know. But yeah, so yeah, that's what I probably plan to do with coming videos and then I'll probably do some actually scripted information in periodically, but this is more so to kind of get some content up. So yeah, that being said, folks, I'll holler at you again whenever something comes on my mind. All right, peace.